Paragon started around the concept of melding the life support, the biology, the chemistry, and the high-tech engineering, really. I come from a background of high-tech. I got my BS and master's from Stanford in aeronautics and astronautics. But the CEO is a chemist and the president is a biologist. And very often we joke that we're the translators between the people in Birkenstocks and the people with pen protectors. You know, we do both.
Can you explain a little bit more to me about what some of the milestones were back in the CCDev One round? Because I'm not too familiar with a lot of the requirements that were for you guys. Sure.
We were the only CCDev contractor that was actually a subsystem provider. All the other CCDev One contractors were spacecraft designers or providers. Our milestones were really twofold. One of them was to take a design of an Air Revitalization System to PDR, to the preliminary design review. And that means full flight preliminary design review. That means requirements are set, you've set your systems design, and you've done the analysis to show that you are at a detailed layout schematic standpoint to the point where really what it is from here on out, do the drawings, test, and build. That was one set of milestones. The other set of milestones were to build an engineering development unit and actually test it in a real world environment. So in that regard, we built a full up ARS system, Air Revitalization System, stuck it in a chamber. We put full loading for, in this case, 5 astronauts on it. Full humidity loading, full CO2 loading. We also did a separate toxic loading for trace contaminant control and show that the whole thing worked from one end to the other. So we got a lot of risk retired there. So literally any systems provider could come to us and say, hey, take your unit and stick it in our thing and we'll fly it. And that was the whole idea behind it. It's very visionary of NASA to do so because, like I said, we were the only ones that were the subcontract. But you think about it, life support is the payload when you're talking human flight.
Absolutely. So have any of these systems providers approached you then to try to get your system into their vehicles?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course I can't say I've gotten in a lot more NDAs than, it's rather funny. I used to work in the classified world back in a prior life, and there's actually almost more gag orders and more things I can't say in the commercial world than there was back in the classified world. But I will say, you know, CCDev One, there's no question, every single, at that time, even semi-viable systems provider agreed to sit down and talk with us and talk about their requirements. So when we did the CCDev One design, we incorporated requirements from, you know, and I'm allowed to say that, you know, Boeing's and Blue Origins and Sierra Nevadas, they all talked to us and said, you know, here's what we're thinking. So we got a range from anywhere from, you know, 3 to 7 passengers, and so then it allowed us to put everything in a box to determine what was the quote-unquote optimum build at the time, the optimum sizing.
Now, there have been several other companies that have tried starting their own Eclipse systems and other things without any prior experience. For example, Bigelow Aerospace. Mm-hmm. Have any of those sort of companies come to you having any sort of problems and saying, hey, how did you fix this, or try to get your help on any systems?
Not directly like that. We have actually built some hardware for Bigelow well back in their early years. Actually, some of it that's flying in the Genesis vehicles up now. But with the SpaceX, which was another one, we were on their original COTS team. And in that case, we wrote their whole environmental control and life support system, part of their what's called the Capability D back in the COTS 2006 timeframe. They have taken a lot of that and incorporated that into their design, from the choice of certain technologies and certain geometries associated with the technologies.
So at this point then, what is the future for Paragon? Are you guys going to be flying your systems in space anytime in the next decade, or just what is your future plans?
Yes, we are going to be flying a lot of stuff, and I've got multiple programs going now and multiple vehicles, and that will all be flying anywhere from time frames or anywhere from months to years. At this point, remember, we're a life support and extreme environments company, so we don't only do space. We have diving systems, we have other systems underwater, we have high altitude systems that are not space. So we do the whole range. And so flying in space, yes, we definitely will. Is that the only thing we're doing? Definitely not.